we're going to take the Royal Caribbean guest survey while it's fresh on our minds with you guys.
Just got off a cruise with Royal Caribbean on the Allure of the Seas. I'm driving, sorry I can't be more involved.
All right. Please rate your overall vacation experience on a scale of 0 to 10. I say 5.
I said 6. And mainly because of some of the, I like the ship. The ship was nice. Some of the onboard entertainment was nice too, which Ocean Air Show and the Blades, which is the ice skating show. So it was some good aspects there. Some other things that were kind of lackluster. So
I don't know. It didn't pass the vibe check for me. It was kind of lackluster. It was like being invited to a barbecue where you didn't know anybody. That's what it was like. Versus being invited to a cookout where even though you didn't know anyone, you knew everyone. So it just didn't pass the vibe check for me. The shows were phenomenal. So I guess if I take the shows into consideration, I could probably bump up to a 6 too. If I took the shows into consideration, because they were pretty spectacular to have an ice skating show, blades, or figure skating show, and to have a diving show on a ship. That was a pretty cool experience. So for that reason, yeah, I bumped mine up to a 6.
well,
If asked for your opinion, how likely would you recommend Royal Caribbean to a friend, family member, or colleague?
that's a mixed bag because it depends on the person.
Yeah,
Some people are wanting a certain experience on a cruise, and some people, it's based on what type of experience you want, will determine whether or not I say go for Caribbean. I mean, the ships are, again, beautiful, and maybe not the Allure of the Seas again, but there's some other ships that I would probably say go ahead and try because we're even considering it.
You said because we're considering it?
Yeah, we're considering some of it. No, she's on the fence, but I think that we should consider. I think part of the issue was the ship, and then the other part of the issue was some of the amenities and.
People are used to what they're used to, and we're very comfortable with Carnival. We're very familiar with Carnival, and so Royal Caribbean is just, their practices are different, and so, and I guess once you've done one thing and then you go to do something else, you're always going to compare it to the one thing you've done. If you enjoyed that one thing, if you had a Carnival on Carnival and it was the worst experience ever, then you're not going to compare it to that. But all of our Carnival cruises have been amazing, so I am comparing it to just that. I think he's right. It depends on who's asking, because a colleague, your colleague might want a barbecue. They may think that's amazing, and so you want to refer them over and say, yeah, you're gonna love it. Put it this way: the ship won't disappoint in terms of
atmosphere.
atmosphere
Yeah, atmosphere.
and
Size.
and how well kept it is. The ship is very well kept. It's, especially for someone who has not cruised before, it is a lot of shock and awe. Like, oh wow, you fit this on a cruise ship. It's like, so I think it'll deliver to whoever you.
Yeah,
it'll deliver. It just depends on who the person is. So I would answer that question as a 5, because to some people I'm gonna say, yeah, you're gonna love Royal Caribbean, and to some people I'm gonna say, oh God, you're gonna be bored to tears. So I'm gonna say 5.
I'm good with that.
Okay. If you were planning another cruise, how likely would you be to choose Royal Caribbean?
It's almost the same question.
On a scale of 0 to 10, I'm more a 2 or a 3. But you disagree.
Yeah, I think that, I think the ship had a lot to do with it. One, look, we brought our kids with us, and this ship had no real. I don't really think it had a lot of things to do for kids, especially when they used to the slides and everything with the water slides and the pools and everything like that. It did have zip lining. It did have the flow rider. Had a pretty decent arcade, but I mean overall, I think the ship kind of impacted some of the things that I would be wanting to look for. But I do think that if we try one of the different ships, like Wonder of the Seas, Icon of the Seas, I would be willing to say, okay, we'll try one of those and get a different experience to see if it makes a difference. I don't think you can always base everything off the first go. So I would say, yeah, I would probably be more of a 6 or a 7 to say I would try another.
Slow down, babe.
I'm going. Try another ship. And yes, I'm driving, so she's going to tell me how to drive.
Always. You say 6 or 7.
Yeah, so we meet.
I say 2 or 3.
So I guess we're going to meet in the middle of 5.
Meet in the middle. Okay, so I chose a 5. This is no internet connection. What happened? Where'd my internet go?
We'll be right back.
Departure, leaving the ship, terminal customs, luggage collection.
We carried our luggage on, so it wasn't really, it carried it off. So we didn't have to do anything with luggage. They need elevators, yeah.
Yeah, as always, when you're trying to leave the ship, because everybody is trying at the same time, you're just standing there waiting on the elevators. And so it was just faster to separate as a family and say, okay, you go down because one person can fit, or to have some of us take the stairs with luggage, because we did choose to take our luggage off. The thing what you were about to get into, passports.
Oh, yeah. So after we got off the ship, I mean, that was the biggest issue for me. Have passports. Our kids don't have passports yet. I say yet because that's probably one of the first things we talked about when we got off the ship this time, because birth certificate line is so long and the passport line is pretty much so seamless, because all they're doing is scan. They were doing Face ID scanning to make sure that everything matched your passport and call it a day. But our kids don't have passports yet, and we will get them before we probably cruise again because of the convenience and the ease. But them having to go through and checking on the birth certificates just took too much time. It was about an hour just to get through customs in that sense.
All right, the friendliness of the staff. Now, this one is hard for me. I'm going to give it a solid 10 because overall, like our room steward, our waiter, when we did go to the main dining room, they were amazing.
They were good.
They were really, really good. Everyone we walked into in the hallway was good. They answered every question. They have an amazing staff. They really, really do. However, you're always going to have, I guess, a bad apple. And there was one experience that truly just kind of put the nail in the coffin for Royal Caribbean for me. And it was one of their employees, as we're standing in line to get pizza, which wasn't great pizza at all. But when you haven't eaten anything, you start lowering your standards. And so I was going to eat that pizza. And I'm standing in the line, and an employee comes up, opens a second line, and taps the guy behind me and tells him to move to the front of the second line, or this new line that he just opened. And of course, this guy obliges. He moves to that line. And I'm thinking like, oh, there's going to be a second cashier who's going to come up and start taking, orders from that second line. But no, the guy just stands next to me and then reaches in front of me, and the employee behind the counter just addresses him first. Even though he saw that I was standing there, both of them decided that this man, who was not of the melanated culture, so to speak, that he was the priority.
Right.
He was the priority. And that really, really rubbed me the wrong way, because I had heard things about Royal Caribbean staff being a little biased. Now, every time I hear something like that, I always say, well, everyone has their personal experiences, and you kind of have to take those things with a grain of salt. But then to have experienced it myself firsthand, I was pretty perturbed by that, and it was just like, never again. Royal Caribbean has lost my business. Now, he does not agree. He does not feel that way. So Royal Caribbean will in turn ultimately get my business again. But that's definitely something that rubbed me the wrong way. And it seems like on this ship, no matter what your personal circumstances are, what class you are, or what resources you have, or it doesn't really matter. You're always going to be, I guess, I'm not gonna get too deep into the weeds on that, but I wouldn't, for me, it would be a deal breaker, but that's not how it's going to be for everybody. And I don't think that anyone should even go off of just one opinion of one person or the opinion of a few videos on the internet, because people have often tell you the bad and don't tell you the good.
Yeah.
The staff overwhelmingly was
overall,
great.
Yeah, overall.
I mean, they were phenomenal. But
they were polite, they were nice.
Yeah.
They were responsive. And
right.
So,
right. I feel like the crew on board was, number one, passionate. Do you completely agree with that statement as a 10? Or do you disagree and it does not apply to them at all? 0. So I would say 10.
10. That's fine.
Yeah. Friendly, 10.
Yeah, 10.
Committed, 10. We agree with all of those. I would still give the friendliness of the staff a 10.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that one person to speak for everyone.
Yeah.
And every other experience. So I would still rate it a 10. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, please share the primary reason for this rating of 5 on likelihood to recommend Royal Caribbean to your friends and family members. Well, okay. Peanut Gallery says their food sucks. More from the Peanut Gallery.
It's true.
Saying that it's true. On a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being the best, how would you rate Royal Caribbean?
0.
Wow.
Okay, so their zeros are likely biased by Alyssa spending most of it sick, there not being a lot of food, or a lot of good food, and the lack of a slide. There was the water park, or there wasn't a water park. It was just pools, and so it left a lot to be desired for kids. Flow Rider was there, which is really entertaining, but it was an added expense, and you had to be willing to get on a surfboard and be thrown up against a wall with high pressure water in front of a crowd that was sitting there watching,
just waiting for somebody to fall.
And as Alexander said, you only get 2 tries. Okay. Itinerary and ports of call. It was the Bahamas. We've been a million times.
It was Nassau and
Now it would have been nice to experience
Perfect Day at Coco Cay.
But as we said, Alyssa wasn't feeling well, so we really didn't get a chance to experience that. So that's another reason that, yes, we should give them another try so that we can specifically get that port. And I think that would probably change the kids' mindset a little bit if they had the opportunity to visit Perfect Day versus seeing it from afar.
Especially the water park, the water slides and everything. That part of Perfect Day at Coco Cay for them would have been a game changer. Me too, because I think that I was really excited about that too. But as anything, stuff changes and we have to work, go with the flow. But we'll get back to that one.
Right. Peer check-in. We really didn't experience it. So
what's that?
like when you come off the port, coming back in.
No, yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, we really didn't experience it. We stayed on the ship.
So next time.
Thinking about your experience visiting the private island, please rate. Nope. We have no experience. I mean, we did see it from afar, and it looked
amazing
from afar.
From our balcony, it looked great.
Yeah.
Next time.
All right, next up. Oh, they about to score terribly here. Quality of food in the main dining room.
Yeah.
No. That
mixed bag. Nope.
Okay,
Nope. You
okay.
can't say your experience with you had a great steak.
Mm-hmm.
They cooked it well.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes great.
Mm-hmm.
But that was only one day. Looking at the menu for the other days,
Yeah,
they have too many things where it's like, what is this?
Right.
And you want the experience of being in the main dining room, but I think you should also have staples that are always in the main dining room that everybody will like whenever they go. And don't change it to some of these things that, our kids wouldn't like. Or if you don't have this hugely sophisticated palate that enjoys fargois and escargot. Those are things that, you might want to try, but the last thing you want to do is try something on a cruise and get sick and not and just be out of it for the rest of the day.
Well, some people do try like really exotic things when they're on board.
That's true. Some
because
people
it's
do.
an opportunity to try really exotic dishes.
And you have to be one of those people.
I do think it would have been better to have staples that kind of stayed on the menu as a rotation, like it just stayed there. But the couple of things that I really did like, they took it off the menu. The main dining room service was great.
It was great.
He was great. He was great in recommending what we could try. He was really good, and he was entertaining. Told us about where he was from, talked about his country. Like we did enjoy that. He was really, really good.
And it took care of us. I think that's
quality. Sorry.
Staff was and the waiters and everything in the dining room were on point.
Yeah. Quality of the food in the Windjammer.
Well, this is up and down. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are 90% of what was there was pretty gross to me.
Yep.
Okay. Alyssa said the Windjammer was trash. Alyssa really didn't eat this whole cruise because the food was pretty bad.
No, it'd be breakfast.
And then on top of that, she wasn't feeling well. Now, breakfast was a little bit better.
I think breakfast, if we go throughout the day, we'll start with breakfast. Breakfast was pretty decent. Mm-hmm. They had the omelets, which were just made, and you'd have to wait. Now, they didn't make them as you were eating and to create a line, so they weren't made to order. That's it. So they weren't made to order. They just had a selection of omelets, and there you go.
But I think you could do one that was made to order. You might have been. Yeah.
But you didn't have to.
You didn't have to.
So, like, if you were going to get a basic cheese omelet, it was already ready, and you didn't have to wait in line to do anything. Right. They had, your staples, pancakes, bacon, eggs, sausage.
Bacon is not crispy.
No, it's not. It's soggy bacon, but, some crispy edges. Some French toast, cereal, parfait. So they had all the staples that you would get in most breakfasts. And I think that they really covered all the bases with breakfast. Now, if we're going after breakfast, any adds to breakfast?
The drinks are open serve.
Yeah.
I don't like that because they literally pre-pour and just line it up, and you just come and pick up a cup, which I don't like because that leaves it completely exposed to anyone. And I'm just like, in 2024, are we really leaving exposed drinks available? But that was at every meal. They were if you didn't have the drink package, which we didn't feel it necessary to get the drink package. Maybe next time we will, but we didn't do it this time. Now, knowing that that's how they serve their non-drink package drinks, we'll likely get the drink package. But that was it seemed like for such a germ conscious ship, it seemed like a pretty bad decision.
Yeah. Plus, they had ice in every drink, and so you know how ice
Right.
gets,
It just
it just
melts.
melts. So
Yes.
basically, you have a watered down beverage.
Oh, we were on the Windjammer, quality of the food. We'd already gotten past breakfast.
Water.
Right.
And so we're gonna talk about lunch.
It was pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, for the most part, though. Like they had some things that like in the Windjammer they had their staple foods. They tried to mix it up and have stuff from different countries, which is nice to have. You know, if you want to try different foods from different countries, that's nice. They had hamburgers and hot dogs, even though it's no God's burger. Let's just be honest.
No guys.
It's not God's burgers. Even Johnny Rockets was in God's burgers, but you know.
Even though Johnny Rockets wasn't bad, like the whole ship should just be Johnny Rockets. And I think ultimately with cruising, when you cruise, the free mass-produced food is always to us kind of lackluster.
Yeah, I mean,
versus the paid specialty dining and main dining room meals, which are, you know, can be a little bit better.
Just covered all that up with your finger.
I sure did. I think the lens.
But I mean, like if we're gonna be honest, it wasn't like it could have been better. Just overall, the Windjammer in general could have been better. If I was gonna give it a rating, I honestly would probably give it a 4. It wasn't really good consistently, and so because of that, it was. I mean, breakfast was the best part of the Windjammer experience, and with breakfast being the best part of it, that means the other 2 meals of the day was just like,
right.
So, I was here for.
All right, service at the Windjammer, that was a 10. Service pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, it was pretty. Like,
it was pretty good.
You ask for what you want. A lot of times I would ask for drinks with no ice. They would just say, here you go, no issues.
Drinks would take, if you added ice, the drinks would taste like water.
Yeah.
The quality of the food from room service, we didn't order room service, so we have no opinion on that.
Probably the same thing.
Service provided by room service, didn't order it. Bar service, this is a trip with the kids, very little anything, and we did not get. We usually try and get at least 1 or 2 nights that we just go out and do something where we may order a drink or go to one of the comedy shows. But in this case, because Alyssa wasn't feeling well, we didn't send her to the kids club on board. So there was no bar service for us to experience.
Yeah.
So we're going to skip all of that. Sorrento's Pizza is where the guy took the order of the man behind me instead of taking my order. So they get a 0 from me.
What's the question?
They get a solid 0. Huh? This says Sorrento's Pizza. That's it. Rated on a scale of 0 to 10. 1, the pizza isn't good, so that's that. The pizza's not good.
Pizza's, yeah. I mean, I think that anytime you mass produce pizza, you're just trying to get something out. I mean, it could have been worse.
It's like traffic. Right now.
Could have been worse, not much. But it definitely could have been better. But I think if you're looking at something quick, I mean, they're open till 3 a.m. I mean, obviously, pizza is the easiest thing to eat if you're having a late night or anything like that. So, I ain't gonna say 0. I mean, I would probably say.
Alexander says 2.5.
I'd probably say a 4.
A 4. Alyssa, how was the pizza for you? Oh, never mind. She didn't have no pizza.
So only because it was just. So I probably, if we're gonna meet in the middle, I'd say 3. If we're gonna say 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. On the pizza?
Yeah. I mean, it could have been more crispy. It was a little bit soggy at times, a little bit doughy. It looks like a lot of times we were rushed to try to get something out so people would have something to eat, and it could have been better.
Your stateroom attendant service. Our stateroom attendant was
Arma.
Arma, and he was phenomenal. Stateroom cleanliness. If we had allowed him in, it would have been phenomenal. But most of the time, Alyssa was in bed, so we didn't do the typical room service. Stateroom appearance, that was pretty good. Overall ship appearance. The ship is beautiful.
Yeah, overall 10. I'll give it. Overall appearance 10.
Overall ship maintenance.
Yeah, I guess I don't see no issues. 10.
Overall ship cleanliness.
10.
Thinking about your experience with entertainment, please rate the following: the cruise director and entertainment team. I feel like I didn't really experience them.
I
Like,
didn't see them much. You saw them during the sail away party for
Yeah.
a second, and they're not as interactive. So it's like
right.
you only see them as much as you see everything else. How does it even stop?
Yeah. So I would give that a 3. Youth programs.
We didn't get rid of it. I mean, I think the youth center, like we went to the adventure center for the kids and everything for the 0 to 11s. I mean, it's big and it's nice. It's beautiful. It's separated. It's a lot of different aspects to that thing. They got a science lab, a movie theater, a play area just for kids to come in and play with parents. I mean, they outdid themselves with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And sports activities. How would you rate it? 10?
We didn't do anything.
And we saw.
We saw, some people playing basketball, pickleball. And pickleball's a big thing, so sure.
Yeah. Daytime activity. Oh, good. Did you have something else?
Okay.
Daytime activities: the flow rider, ice skating, zip line, rock climbing, mini golf, dance classes, the 3D movies, the poolside events, and contests. There's quite a bit to do if you are, if you enjoy things like the flow rider. But for us, it's just like, whew, center of gravity. It's just not there. And, we gotta work. We got time for no broken bones. All right. Evening events and theme parties. Didn't attend any of them.
And they weren't really advertised. Like,
Right.
it's not something that they've announced on a regular basis. Hey, we having this theme party here. Be here to enjoy this. Or this is something going on here. I don't know if it was the cruise director or what, but if you weren't looking for these events, then you didn't know these events were going on.
The production and show. Did you want to ask something else?
No, I was if I had to give it a rating. I don't know.
Oh, what did you give it?
I mean, look, I would probably. What was the options?
0 to 10? 6?
Yeah, 6. I mean,
okay.
It's there.
Now the production shows.
Oh yeah,
they were pretty good.
Those were nice.
Did
you ask about specific shows?
No, it just says theater, ice, aqua.
Okay, well then I would say Blades. I think it was nice because you get to see something you really don't get to see often. This is an experience, like seeing people figure skate, dance to music on ice and everything like that. I mean, unless you're looking at the Olympics or going to a competition, you really don't see anything like that, or unless you're into things like that. For me, this is the first time I got a chance to actually experience something like that. I think it was good. I think it was an interesting and involved experience that I wouldn't mind doing again on a cruise.
Yeah. Orchestra, bands, and musicians. I will say the bands that they had were pretty good. Voom onboard internet.
Spotty.
Awful.
I mean, not awful. It was spotty.
It was so spotty, and then it was slow. I definitely anticipated a faster speed. It was very, very slow. And it didn't work on the balcony of the cabin.
was
Like
more.
if you tried to show someone the view, it would just completely cut out and disconnect. I couldn't go live because the internet connection was so bad. There was no point where I could go live.
I mean, I guess if we like all of us had the internet, so it helped us keep in touch. I mean, we all have iPhones, so it's like we could text each other a little bit easier. But yeah, it was a little bit too spotty for me, especially if you're trying to stream or do anything like that. It kind of creates. It's kind of a frustrating moment.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
The arcade experience.
When they worked.
When they worked.
Like if you don't know how to activate the game, you end up you spend more time trying to figure out how to activate the game than actually playing the game. I mean, me and Alexander went to arcade, and it's like the one on the boardwalk. There's no instructions at all. You just scan your card. It says you paid, and then you're looking like this. Well, how do I play? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And then, or you scan your card, and it doesn't tell you that you need to touch the two green buttons at the same time to activate. So you're just looking like deer in the headlights.
So the casino process is easy peasy, secret card, and that's it. Yeah, but then you get to the arcade, and they're just like, we need your fingerprints.
The arcade process is difficult. Like, that's weird. I mean, but when the game worked, it was fun. They have two, three different places, arcade areas. So, I mean...
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. I thought the one arcade that I went to was the one arcade.
No, there's one on deck 15, and then there's one on the boardwalk, which is deck 6. And that's near the carousel and everything. And then I thought it was another one. I'm not sure, but it might just be those two. But I think it might be one more. I'm not sure. But no, I know it's definitely those two.
Okay. All right. So overall, what's your rating of the arcade?
I mean, it's 8.
8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fairly.
All right. The Royal Caribbean mobile app experience. I thought the app was okay.
Yeah.
But when it did the deck view, it feels like it could be a little more detailed. Now, that's because I was looking for something in particular and couldn't find it. I was expecting like a Google Earth view. So my expectations may have been unrealistic in this case. So I'll say the app was pretty good. It was pretty...
I think so.
Yeah, so we'll do a 10 on the app.
The app was good. It was interactive. You can find stuff fairly easily. You can reserve stuff, everything from the app. It didn't cost extra to do the chat feature or anything like that. So it was. I thought it was pretty decent.
Were
so
you?
8.
Oh, I'm sorry. 8.
8, 9. Yeah, I give it around.
Were you asked by any crew member to provide positive ratings or reviews on the survey? We were, but I feel like that's a setup. Like, do I want? Like, I don't want them to get into trouble for asking. But then if they're supposed to ask you to provide a review?
It's a setup, catch-22.
I know, right? So we were. Huh? Yeah, I'll say yes, because maybe it's a good thing. If you were asked to provide a positive rating on this survey, identify the crew member who asked you. I won't. There because our server was really, really good. And he did ask us to provide a review for him. But he earned it. He earned it. He earned the positive review. So I don't care what you asked me to do. If you didn't earn it, you get in this hole too. If you didn't earn it.
Yeah, but I would say like the dude from South Africa, I don't remember his name. His assistant was Muhammad, and the other one I don't remember.
Okay. Please rate your satisfaction with how we cared for your health on board. I would give them a 10 on that because they really did stay on top of people washing their hands, which is big when it comes to the buffet. Yeah. But at the same time, you lose points because if you care about my health, why are you serving open drinks? Why are you serving pre-made open drinks? That messed you up. You could have got a 10 because of the hand washing stations, which I absolutely loved. As soon as you walk in, there's somebody right there telling you, "Hey, wash your hands and then have a good meal." That's true at the Windjammer because it's a buffet.
They have a huge hand washing station on both
Yeah,
sides.
which is why it matters because it's a buffet.
And they force you to go in one way. They force you to go in at the hand washing station. So it's not like you can just go in a different route and skip it.
Yeah. Even though some people, even though they say wash your hands, they walk past anyway. And then like one lady's just like, "Oh, I'll just use hand sanitizer," and I'm just like, "Oh, you specifically because you got that attitude need to wash your hands." No matter where you go, buffets are gross. People are gross. So please rate your Royal Caribbean shore excursion experience. Well, I didn't go Royal Caribbean, so not applicable. When do you estimate your next cruise vacation will take place? Less than a year, hands down.
Yep, every year.
Yep, every year. We've been twice this year, and I'm going in July. I still have hope that we can make it in July for a 4-day for just us, not the kids. They got Disney this time, and they got a cruise out of one vacation, not to mention that they went on a pretty long cruise in January. So I'm still hopeful that we will get to take a cruise that's just to us. I don't care where it goes. I don't. I just need it to be convenient. Like, seriously, if they took me out in the middle of the ocean and just left us there for 4 days, I would accept it. I would be okay with that. Please select any cruise brands you know or believe to be affiliated with Royal Caribbean International. Well, we already know that Celebrity. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do that whole thing. Let's see. Next. Who did you travel with on your recent Royal Caribbean vacation? Spouse, young children. Prior to booking this particular cruise, what other types of vacations were you considering taking? I did not consider any other type of vacation.
That's a lot, don't it?
They really do. Including this most recent cruise, how many cruises have you ever taken? Mind your business.
What is your blood type?
How many of your... Why are you... They are like really... Alright. Which of the following cruise lines have you cruised with in the past 5 years? Carnival.